rust off, kind of restores the base metal.
Welcome back to the garage. Crunch time for our Integris still. Couple things that we ran into was a lot of the bolts and whatnot and the rear suspension are rusty, so had to take care of a lot of those, tap some holes, the usual fun stuff with rusty cars. Take a look, we got new exhaust pipe in, got rid of the resonator, no cat, rear suspension. Some of it's in. We undercoated the entire car, coated the tank, coated the whole back of the underbody, kept our spoon muffler, got our Skunk 2 lower control arms, trailing arms we couldn't replace, so we ended up getting them blasted, put some bushings in there, and painted it black. Came out all right. We got our True Heart adjustable, our Skunk 2 adjustable up top here. Tine coilovers. A lot of these welded in bolts ended up breaking off for the sway bar, so just gonna use a bolt and a nut for that. I mean, like a lot of these brackets, you know, are just rusted, not really needed. I mean, good for organization, terrible for look. Stainless brake lines are in. Ended up being able to fit the two 6AN lines underneath this tray here with our stainless brake lines. Overall, it looks pretty good. Got our nice, fresh, rebuilt caliper. Was working on earlier. Came out pretty good. Because once everything else was complete, and the brakes are on and whatnot, then I'll hook up all the brake lines, keep the wheels off, obviously get all of the air out of the system. Nice dry system, so it's going to be nice to have all fresh brake fluid, including in the ABS unit. And then start it up and watch it smoke away. Headers will definitely smoke. Curved in a little, but not bad. There it is. Okay, check this out. So, talk about the most basic of the basic system possible. So this goes into the heater core and a cable actuates this to send coolant through that. Really bizarre, but kind of cool all at the same time. and that's how you get your heat. Well, with our new silicone hoses, trying to figure out how this is going to mount with the new hoses, because it's a little stiffer, and this has clearly been cut at some point, so perhaps it was in the wrong position to start. We'll take a look at the manual and see what we can find. Our harness is all nice and wrapped, so you got your fuel feed and return. Don't have them cut all the way yet. Gonna figure out how we're gonna mount that and our K&N filter we got. I ended up getting a stainless brake line for the clutch. Redid the brake master cylinder, cleaned those up, same with the clutch master.
It's crazy.
I'm fucking determined.
$350 bolt.
It literally, it's the most expensive bolt. And you know what sucks? I didn't have a bolt to replace it with. That's why I came and got all those bolts. I mean, I don't know how much of Connor's gas I used up welding a new nut on there. I went through at least one sanding wheel. Yeah, it was probably $350 worth.
Alright, sounds like it's gonna be a good video.
Yeah, probably.
Cool, man.
Stop fucking calling me!
Hey, I have a lot of information today. I apologize.
Oh, I'm just messing with you, man.
I'm not trying to bug you.
Nah, you good. You good.
You know, like normally you do a project and then there's one part that's really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It seems like this whole project is that.
Well, yeah, it's only been one part on every single component of the car. Got all that flaky rust off. Still a few little corners and whatnot. Just do that with the Dremel.
We pulled an all-nighter. We got the radiator in, everything's in, the car runs. But washing it at 6:30 this morning, ready to go to the track. Soft clutch, throttle body sticks open at 5,000 RPMs. A little bit of tinking the tuner and still to do. We got to get out, cruise up the canyon, carve some corners, and man, this Honda right here is something else.
What is up, guys? When this comes out, this detail series to my right will be out, the Supra. Before we get into today's video, I gotta shout out my future sponsor, Red Bull. Drink this and you'll be able to detail like me, so drink them. Today we are starting the Type R. This is a DC2 Type R, straight from Arigato Gozaimasu land. My guys from Rev Hard obviously brought this to me. This is Josh's personal vehicle for now. We'll see if he keeps it after we're done. I hope he keeps it. From our analysis, aka my analysis, I could tell this thing has been wet sanded before, which also tells me this thing has been repainted before. The color looks really great. It's really spot on. They just sanded it and didn't do anything else. So you can see the wet sanding trail marks from the machine. They just kind of run like circles, one after the other. So I mean, because it's a white car, you can't really tell, but if this was another color, this car would look great. So we're gonna fix that, as well as clean up a lot of the, just the loose ends and stuff. There's a lot of gunk buildup in all the edges, all the jams. We're gonna try to clean up these trims as much as we can. And then also clean these wheels, polish them. Hopefully they look a lot better. They're pretty caked up right now. And then also, we're gonna try to fix Josh's attempt at a headlight restoration. It needs it. So, good try, Josh. But, I mean, just let the pros do it. Along with the outside, we're gonna do the inside. So pretty standard stuff here. I mean, it's actually really clean for a DC2 of its age. We're just gonna do a thorough interior detail, nothing crazy. Seats are pretty clean. We might blow them out with our Tornador. Don't need an extraction. We're gonna clean up the mats as best as we can. They just have a lot of deposit in them. So we're gonna blow those out and vacuum them as well. And then maybe do a little shampooing. But honestly, really clean interior. And then aside from that, the engine bay is mostly redone. So we're just gonna button things up and make it all look unison. So let's get started with the wash. You can see here, these are from sanding rather than from traditional swirling. So this bottom section here on this fender is one of the worst. You can see the sanding marks and the trails that were left over by the machine. They use a DA to sand this. If need be, we will be sanding this down with the 3000 grit and then buffing it. But we're gonna try to use a rotary with a heavy coat compound 400 Manzurna. If that doesn't work, then we might have to wet sand it with the 3000. But let's go ahead and get started on this one and see what type of progress we can make with just a traditional DA set. So from this section I marked here and this section I marked here on the door, there's a bunch of C's. It looks like a bunch of C's. That's just ends from when they pivoted the DA sander. So there's a bunch of like C, all the way through from here to here. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of wet sanding on that area just to get it out. I'll only use a 3000 grit and then I'll use the 1 inch to get this section out. So not terrible, but it's the deepest stuff that's on the store. assumption after everything we've seen is someone did this in their own garage, maybe. It for sure wasn't in an oven or any type of filtered area. There's a few hairs that landed here that you could see. And then if you listen to this versus this is already done. This isn't done. There's a bunch of dirt that just barely landed on the clear coat while it was hardening. So our first cut is actually taking all this off. So no wonder we couldn't get this off while clay barring, because it's actually embedded into the clear coat. So that first cut is managing to get all that out. It's kind of funny. You can literally hear where we've hit it and where we haven't. So just got to hit this area on the roof, and then the rest of it looks really good now. You can also kind of see the difference in color. That's probably because of the dirt that landed on here. It's making it a little bit darker or dirtier looking than the actual color it's supposed to be. So yeah, so just got to hit the square, and then trunk, wing, bumpers, coat it, wheels, coat those, and we're all good. So almost there. Alright, you guys, now that the paint is all done, we are going to move on to the next step. The paint looks absolutely stunning, so we gotta get these wheels to match the paint. We are close to being done on the Type R. This DC2 was in pretty good shape. It's just the painters decided to sand it and not buff it. I'm pretty sure I stated that before, but so all the swirling and stuff was all sanding marks from a DA. We had to re-sand most of that stuff with a 3000 grit and then buff it out with a 3-stage process. Microfiber, blue pad, polish. But the final result was amazing, so it was worth the time. Looking back at it now, you know, there were points where I was like, damn, this thing is, I don't know if I can trust this paint or not, but I mean, we measured it out, it was fine. So definitely got it to where it should be now. We do have a coating on here already, System X Pro 6-year coating. It is a 9-inch hardness and improves gloss, and it is hydrophobic, and it also refracts UV rays. So those are the 4 main benefits to that. We are going to go ahead and do a second layer anyways. Now that the first layer is on there, it's already cured and everything, it's all ready to go. Put it on there, wait a little bit, should be fine. Just rolling it out, it's a beautiful day outside. So yeah, let's get into the final coating and then we'll pull it out and see it in the sun. So the Pro sweats more than it rainbows. The wavier it gets, or the more it sweats is what we call it. That means it's ready to wipe, so it's pretty much there. It'll do a little bit of rainbowing, but it's more sweating than rainbowing. Since the pad's already primed, we don't have to put that much the second time. So that there is plenty for the other half.
pretty close to the end here. We're at Denver Ace here in Denver, Colorado, getting the detail done. They always do an amazing job. As you can see the shine. Thought I'd just go over a little bit about what we've done with the car. When this car came in, we did the not so wise thing of just taking it on the track, taking it to its max power. We broke a couple axles. While we were in there, we found this, we found that, we found this, so we said, let's just do it all. Inside the motor bay, we pulled the whole motor, painted the bay. We pulled the head or the valve cover gasket off. The inside of said valve cover looked pretty clean and original. Not a lot of coloration or anything, so we decided to keep the motor and head together. We have a Skunk 2 intake manifold, a Blocks throttle body for a bigger throttle body. We put some Go Ziggin headers on here. All new radiator piping, all new lines. So we did the steel braided lines. We did all new fuel lines. We did all new brake lines. The front subframe was kind of crusty, so we went ahead, replaced the main subframe, coated it, got new control arms, have TN coilovers all the way around. The only thing left to do new is this power steering pump is getting replaced, and this tank is new. So under here is brand new. We also have a bracket that came in here that holds the water tank. It's got a Skunk 2 radiator. In the back here, we did the rear subframe, we did the Progress sway bar. Underneath, we coated it. On the side here, we did new trim panels. I have a new top trim, but I'll go ahead and replace that and replace the glass. You can see this original glass with the worn banner. We have the mirror to fix here. It was kind of one of those projects that broke that shouldn't have broke during the project. We had that coming in. The shifter bushing is kind of sloppy still. We got that coming in. AC, the system was pretty rusted and corroded, so we have to get a new AC system. All those parts will be rounded up together. And then this baby will be done. It was great to get it out for our first drive. We got it for a good shakedown. It's gonna go out this weekend to a car show. So a big shout out, thank you to Denver Ace for getting this thing ready for us. So from the time this car came in, it was, you know, decently clean. We've discovered a lot of rust, a lot of projects. To see it in this final state, this closer to final state, you know, it's really a loss for words what to say. You know, growing up a Honda kid, wanting a Type R, and to have a complete Type R, it's pretty something special. So thank you for everyone who helped out.